Welcome to another bonus edition of Upon Further Review. And in this edition, we'll be talking about the Detroit Lions at the New England Patriots. You can catch this Week 12 matchup on November 23rd at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, and that'll be aired on Fox. So right here on Upon Further Review, we just started doing a new thing last week, as we've changed it a little bit. As while I'm doing the Upon Further Review, I'm also doing Madden gameplay. So what I'm doing is I'm playing as the team that I'm picking while doing the Upon Further Review show to give you something to look at. Also add another dynamic to the show. So I'm picking the Patriots in this game, so I'll be playing as New England versus Detroit. And heading into this game, the Lions are 7-3 on the season. The Patriots are 8-2. So these are two of the better teams. Of course, the Lions did lose in Arizona last week, as that was two of the top teams in the NFC battling it out. The Lions are still tied for first place in the NFC North with the Packers. Now they're tied. They were in first place by themselves, but now they're tied. And the Patriots, of course, are in first place in the AFC East. And the Lions started off the season by beating the Giants in Detroit in Week 1. They then lost in Carolina to the Panthers in Week 2. They then hosted the Packers in Week 3 and picked up a big win against their division rivals. And then in Week 4, they went to New York and they beat the Jets. And then in Week 5, Buffalo came into Detroit, and they ended up beating the Lions at Ford Field. But then the Lions went on a 4-game winning streak. They won in Minnesota against the Vikings. They beat the Saints at home, and then they ended up going to Atlanta and beating the Falcons. And then they ended up with their bye week in Week 9, and in Week 10 they hosted the Dolphins and they beat Miami. But then last week they failed to extend their winning streak to 5 games as they lost in Arizona to the Cardinals. In a close game, it was 14-6. The Cardinals put up 2 touchdowns, they put up 2 field goals, and they lost. And there's no shame in losing to the Cardinals in Arizona, as the Cardinals have only lost 1 game all year, and that was in Denver. But right here, Detroit is in Foxborough facing the Patriots. We'll go over that here in a second. So, listen to the Patriots, how they got to this point. They lost in Week 1 against the Dolphins in Miami. They won the next 2 games. First going to Minnesota and beating the Vikings. Then the Raiders came to Foxborough. But then they went to Kansas City and they lost to the Chiefs. They got blown out on Monday night. And right at that point, they were 2-2 on the season. And that was kind of the turning point, because then at that point, they went on a 6-game winning streak ever since losing their second game there to the Chiefs in Arrowhead, as they then hosted the Bengals and they got a huge win against Cincinnati. That was on Sunday Night Football. Let's just do this play here, try to shut them down on 3rd down. Oh man, oh no, Megatron, get him! Oof, that was crazy. I thought he was almost going to get a touchdown. And 3rd and 3, Megatron comes with a big catch. Yeah, so the Patriots, after beating the Bengals, they then went to Buffalo. They beat the Bills, and then they hosted the Jets, and they beat New York in Foxborough. So 2 back-to-back wins there against AFC East rivals. Of course, they just barely beat the Jets by 2 points, but a win is a win. They then hosted the Bears, and they put up 51 points in that game. And then they hosted the Broncos, and they put up 43. So huge performances in back-to-back games, scoring 94 points. They then had their bye week, and then they came off the bye week, and they put up 42 against the Colts in Indianapolis. So the offense has been on fire in that game too. Jonas Gray had 201 yards. He had 4 touchdowns. That was just last week. A very impressive win for the Patriots on the road. Of course, Jonas Gray, the big story this week is that he was late for practice. Apparently his alarm didn't go off. He showed up late, and the rule in New England is if you're late for practice, then you don't practice, and so they sent Jonas Gray home. And the thing about that is, if he's not practicing, well, that's going to affect his play time, and so don't be surprised if we don't really see much of Jonas Gray. We might not even see him at all, potentially. I don't know. We'll see come Sunday. But they picked up LeGarrette Blount. Is the Steelers, let Blount go, and the Patriots picked him up. He cleared waivers, and now he's back on the Patriots. He was with the Patriots last year, and now he's back in New England, back in a Patriots uniform. And he had some success last year with the Patriots, and he knows their system, so
Let's see what they do on this third down
we'll see. I wouldn't be surprised. I think that we're going to see a lot of LeGarrette Blount in this game against Detroit. So, that's where we're at with that. Let's actually look at the numbers. When it comes to passing proficiency, these two teams have had a lot of success in 2014. The Lions are 12th in the NFL in passing yards per game, and the Patriots are 9th. So they're right there, both of them. And then on passing defense, though, the Lions have the advantage. They are 5th in the NFL when it comes to passing defense. The Patriots are 17th. So the advantage actually goes to the Lions in the passing game, technically. Even though it's hard to really say that, but it's really their defense is where they get that advantage. Although Brady has been having a phenomenal season, and especially in the last, Woo, look at that interception in the end zone. Patriots, baby. Woo. That's what's been happening too. Stafford's actually been turning the ball over this season. Matthew Stafford on this season has 13 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. And still, though, their defense is just playing so well that's why they're tied for first place. Of course, in Stafford's defense, they don't have much of a running game, and Megatron's been injured all year, so he hasn't really had much help on the offensive side of things. But we saw the Patriots coming up big, and the Patriots actually, let's look at their numbers when it comes to interceptions on the season. No one player has a lot. The most anyone has is 2 interceptions, and that's Revis and McCourty. But as a team, they have 11 total picks. So here's the end of the first quarter. That's after 1-0-0. These teams do have defense, so don't be surprised to see this be a low-scoring game. It's very likely. But when it comes to the run, these two teams against the run, well, on offense, the Lions are 30th in rushing yards per game, and the Patriots are 13th. So the Patriots are finding a way to run the ball, regardless, as it's been multiple different backs in the backfield. Ridley, Vereen, Jonas Gray. Now they got Blount. Vereen's injured. Jonas Gray didn't practice, so I expect to see a lot of Blount and Vereen in this game. But the Patriots, they can run the ball, but the Lions can't. They're 30th. They've been struggling to run the ball. Bush has been injured a lot. Joink Bell has been doing something, but he doesn't get many carries. If you actually look at the passing place to running place for the Lions have thrown the ball 371 times, and they've passed the ball 371 times. They've only run it 246. So they are a very, very pass-happy team, and that's part of why Joink Bell doesn't get a lot of yards. He has 442 yards on the ground. He has 3 touchdowns. He averages 3.6. It's actually the same average as Reggie Bush. So, like I said, though, he didn't get a lot of carries. Right here, we're just pounding the rock, just giving it to Garrett Blount, just pounding away. Yeah, we look at running defense, though. The Lions are the #1 team in the NFL when it comes to running defense. Of course, they're going to be without Nick Fairley, so that will be, have an effect on the game. We'll see how big of an effect it has on the game. That remains to be seen. But the Patriots are 14th in the NFL when it comes to run defense. So, it's kind of a push when it comes to the run, but you got to give it to the Patriots, though, even against the Lions' #1 ranked running defense, just because the Lions just can't run the ball. And the Patriots, although they're ranked 14th, they do stop the run somewhat, so they stop it enough, and they should be successful, and they have the advantage there, technically speaking. We look at actually points for and against. We'll look at that here in a second. Let's show you a play off here. Play action. Going to Gronkowski, baby. Over the middle. Big play to Gronk. Rob Gronkowski. So, yeah, when it comes to points scored, The Lions are 26th in the NFL, and the Patriots are 2nd. So the Lions don't put on many points, but the Patriots do. They have no problem getting points on the scoreboard. They're actually only 2nd to the Packers, and they only trail the Packers by 7 points when it comes to total points on the season. And they're like 0.7, off on the average per game. So they're right there with the Packers, just putting on just lots of points up. As we've seen in the last 3 weeks, they've scored over 40 points. They scored 50, then 40, 40. As it was, 55, 51, then 43, then 42 in their last 3 games. But we look at points against, though, and it's a different story because the Lions are number 1 when it comes to stopping teams from scoring. Patriots are 13th. So you have the number 2 offense against the number 1 defense. Touchdown, Gronkowski! Woo! And that's the Tom Brady. He's the best. There's Rob Gronkowski. He's also the best. So, I mean, you got the best quarterback, the best tight end, and that's a duo that's tough to stop. They're the number 2 duo all-time in quarterback to tight end touchdowns. They trail only Phillip Rivers and Antonio Gates. Every time they score a touchdown, they're making history. They're writing record books. And that's something Brady's been doing his whole career. So there's the extra point. It's up, it's good, and the Patriots take the lead right before halftime, 7-0. So when it comes to, points scored and allowed, you got to give the advantage to the Patriots. And we have, like I said, top offense versus top defense. That's going to be a great matchup to watch. Of course, on the other side of the ball, though, is really the thing where it's going to, come down to is the Lions offense versus the Patriots defense. Really on both sides. It's just going to be a great game to watch for sure. It really should be. But of course, the Patriots always rise to the level of competition. That's the thing about New England, is that you see that they play their best games against top competition. And I mean, just look at their schedule, for evidence of that. I mean, look at what they did to Indianapolis, last week. 42 points they put up against the Colts, which the Colts are one of the top teams in the AFC, and they just dominated them. And then back in Week 9 against Denver, same thing, 43-21. They dominated the Broncos, and the Broncos are arguably right there, like 2 of the best teams in the AFC, excluding the Patriots. The Patriots just dominated them. So really, how can you say that the Patriots are anything but the class of the AFC? I mean, we've got some really good teams in the AFC, some very competitive football. There's going to be a lot of teams, challenging the Patriots come playoff time. And woo, look at that sack, baby! Yes, New England coming up with a big sack right here. Here we go. Here's the replay coming in. Boom! Vince Wilfork. Look at him coming in there and getting Stafford, wrapping him up for the sack. Now it's 3rd and long. Big play right there by Big Daddy Vince. Bailey said they rise to the level of competition. Even going back to Week 5 against Cincinnati, 43-17. That was another game. Like, those were games, all those games were supposed to be tight games, but instead the Patriots win by double digits. So the only game where they didn't, do that was against Kansas City, where they actually got blown out. But that was, like I said, that was kind of a wake-up call. And even early on, teams are finding their identity. The Patriots right there, they got punched in the face by the Chiefs, but they bounced right back. And that is classic Patriots. That's the type of teams that Bill Belichick puts together. Teams that Tom Brady, that's the kind of player he's competitive. He doesn't just take a loss. He doesn't take it sitting down. Tom Brady's a competitor that if you beat him, he's going to come back 10 times harder the next week, as it is anyway. Patriots love being underdogs, and early on, everybody was doubting them. And then look what happened. They ripped a 6-game winning streak. And they've got some tough competition coming up. I mean, right here, they got the Lions. Then they got to go to Green Bay next week. So that's going to be a tough one, back-to-back NFC North games. let's see. Oh no, dang! They just enough to burn off the clock, but then they got to go to San Diego. Then they got Miami coming in. So that's actually the thing. They finish up the last 3 weeks is against AFC East opponents because they got Miami, New York, and Buffalo. 2 of those are at home. 1 of those they go to New York in between. They wrap up, like I said, Miami in Foxborough, then going to New York against the Jets. Then they got Buffalo coming to Foxborough for the last game. So we'll see how it goes down the stretch, but it's not inconceivable that the Patriots went out. The tough game is going to really be that game against Green Bay in Lambeau Field. And of course, also going to San Diego on Sunday night. But they should win at least the San Diego game, I feel. Green Bay and Lambeau, that's a tough one right there. But then the last 3 games, if they just take those teams out, that's it right there. They win the division. They probably already have it sewed up. And really, I feel in Week 15 when they beat Miami, that would be the clincher. And then they go against New York and Buffalo. But that's the thing, too. Those are going to be tough games regardless, just because they are AFC East division rivals. So, those games are always tough ones. But here we are, second half, up by a touchdown over the Lions. And really, for the Patriots, like I said, this is going to be a tough game in the trenches against Detroit. They're a tough team. Points can be really hard to come by against this Lions defense. So I wouldn't be surprised to just see them pounding the ball with LeGarrette Blount. Well, of course, who knows? Only Bill Belichick knows what they're going to do for sure. But like I said, Jonas Gray, with him not being there in practice, hey man, I thought it was awesome what he did last week. I'm not necessarily really, I don't think they should. I think they should let him practice. I don't know. I'm not sure what the discipline should be or whatever. I'm not a head coach, and Bill Belichick, you can't argue with his success. He obviously knows what the heck he's doing. He knows better than I know. I would have gave the guy a break. I mean, I understand though if you let up, you make an exception for one guy, and now you got to make exceptions for everybody. But even still, oh man, no, that wasn't good. It was 4th and 1. I just got stuffed in the backfield. That was bad. That's what Detroit's defense can do, though. Let's see, it's the guy overslept a little. He obviously friggin' needed the sleep. He's friggin' putting all that work in that game, I mean, jeez. I know that's what they're paid to do and all, but give the guy a break. Well, things happen. It might actually work out anyway in the favor, because say they play Blount and have him, with the bulk of the carries going up against that Detroit defense, well, that saves Jonas Gray then for, the next week and for down the stretch. I mean, because this Lions team is vicious, so it's not necessarily a bad thing to have Gray, not get a lot of playing time in this game, and to have LeGarrette, take those carries and, what I mean, have him in there, just pounding it away. So that way, like I said, it saves Jonas Gray for down the stretch. We'll see, though, how it all plays out. Maybe he gets his carries anyway, but like I said, if you don't practice, then, it's tough to get game time if you don't get your practice time in. Because the Patriots, especially the way they game plan, they play different every week. It's not like certain teams that they play a certain style and they just do what they do. Every single week you never know what the Patriots are going to do because they plan towards their competition. They play towards their own strengths and they play to the weaknesses of their competition to where they make a team have to beat you with their weakness, right? That's what they're that's what they always do. I mean, we see it they did in that game against the Colts. Going in, you would think, it's going to be, a game where they're just going to be passing the ball like crazy, right? And it's going to be, a shootout. But no, what they do, they just ran the ball. And they ended up getting 4 touchdowns, 201 yards, like I said, for Gray. Brady got 257 passing yards. Friggin', and that's something that people didn't see coming in. Who could have predicted that? You know, and that's Belichick. He's always got a trick up his sleeve. He always, you know, brings something new to the table. So we'll see come Sunday what he got planned for the Lions and going up against that defense, and also how they're going to shut down the Lions' offense as well. But of course, going against the Lions, it's basically if you pressure Matthew Stafford, you blitz Matthew Stafford, then that'll force him to make mistakes. They don't have, you know, a real running game, so you don't have to really worry about that so much. You don't have to necessarily stack, you know, guys in the box. You can double cover, you know, Megatron if you feel, which I mean, of course, Megatron healthy, you're gonna have to double cover, but he's a little banged up still, but he is back. So, and of course, Reggie Bush is gonna be back for this game as well. They're gonna need to have some production, and Reggie Bush really, he hasn't been doing it. So, of course, you know, this is Caldwell's first year as head coach. So, I mean, you figure the Lions will be better next year, but they're right in the thick of it. They got that defense. The only thing they're missing is that running game. But next year, the Lions are going to be a team to watch out for sure. Even still this year, like I said, that defense is just so good that they're always going to be in it in any game. They're never out of it. Even when they're trailing, you know, their defense will just shut the team down, and then their offense gets going. They'll come back. They've done it before. So that's the thing. It's going to take a full 60 minutes out of the Patriots to beat this Lions team. They do not quit. They don't give up. They're always, you know, in it. They're never far out of it either. Like I said, with that defense, and then with Megatron and with Golden Tate, you know, it's they have that big play capability. Stafford's got a big arm. At any point, those guys can score. Even though they haven't really been doing that so much this year, but they haven't really had a healthy team. Man, what the heck was that? At least it picked up 7 minutes, right? It was looking like I thought it was going to break a touchdown right there. But it didn't happen. Alright, here we go, 2nd and 3. This game is winding down. If we get another score here, it'll pretty much be over. Gronkowski, oh man, when I threw it, he was open. Damn, man, I should have thrown it earlier. Alright, 3rd and 3 here. We need a first down. It's a big situation right here. 3rd and 3. What are we gonna do? What to do? Alright, we need 3 yards for the first down. That way we get the clock moving too. The clock stopped. Edelman coming across in motion. He's got the first down. Julian Edelman. And that's going to bring it to the 2-minute warning. They just love to show highlights, I swear. The game coming down to the 2-minute warning. Instead of just going to run the clock down. That even, I will not be surprised to see this be a low-scoring game. You know, the Patriots have been in a couple games like that, or at least one game against Oakland there when they won 16-9. The Lions, though, they've been in some low scores, like, you know, they don't let up a lot of points. Even last week we saw 14-6. You know, I'm surprised to see a similar type of game right here, even though the Patriots have a more potent offense than the Cardinals. So
first down here after the completion.
Without the running game, that's what makes it tough for Detroit to actually travel well. Says Steve, you got a good defense, you know, that's always going to be good to bring on the road. But on the road, you need to have a running game to win on the road consistently. And that is the thing that the Lions do lack, that running game. The Patriots, like I said, they can hit from all cylinders. It seems like it doesn't even matter. Like, they'll just do whatever they want to do. If they want to pass, they want to run, they'll do it. And it doesn't even matter, it seems, who's, you know, who's in the backfield or not. We'll see come this Sunday how things play out. A little past that, I'm going to keep the clock rolling, but Detroit burning a timeout. Oh, look at, there he is, Aaron Rodgers. Finally, we have an Aaron Rodgers sighting. He's giving Gatorade to Tom Brady. What? Can you believe it? Holy cow, Aaron Rodgers is now the Patriots Gatorade guy. What is happening? It's crazy. Without fail, you will always see Aaron Rodgers pop up, even if Packers aren't playing. It's crazy. They just love Aaron Rodgers. Like, yeah, Aaron Rodgers is everybody. Everybody's Aaron Rodgers. I'm Aaron Rodgers. No, I'm Aaron Rodgers. No, I'm Aaron Rodgers. Right there, first down, forcing them to burn their last timeout as we're just running the ball and running the clock down with LeGarrette Blount. Look at that, 10 carries, 59 yards. That's all he really needs to do. Just, keep running it and picking up positive yards. Keep the clock moving. Picking up those blocks. Oh, look at this. Could he do it? Yes. He just might. Almost. Oh. All the way down to the 3-yard line. What a run by LeGarrette Blount. Right here. He almost broke that one for the touchdown. Came close, but they got him down right there at the 3. This game is all but over. It's all but over. Oh, it's funny. We're actually having to bring someone else in here. Game is coming to a close, and I don't know what's the final score going to be. I mean, we don't really need to score at this point. There's no real point to it. Just running down the clock, really. I actually could just take a knee right here, but I'm going to run the ball anyway. Just giving it to the fullback. Boom. Why are they replaying? We don't need to see the replay. Yeah, and right there. No, actually, we still need to take one more knee. One more knee will do it for this game. This one's coming to a close, and the final score is going to be 7-0. Patriots over the Lions. So that's how this one played out. Low-scoring defensive battle, just grinding it out. So I think the Patriots are going to win. Let me know what you think. Do you think the Patriots will win? Do you think the Lions will win? And do you enjoy the Madden gameplay and the new version of Upon Further Review? And if you do, make sure you go ahead and hit the like button. And if you want more content such as this, go ahead and subscribe, as we'll bring you Upon Further reviews and recaps of every game in the NFL all season long. We actually did miss a couple, but we only missed one recap and we only missed 2 Upon Further reviews. That happens. We won't miss any more though. And here we go. This game is over. The Patriots win. Thank you very much for watching. It is greatly appreciated. I hope you're having a good day and a great weekend. And enjoy all of the sports. Right there, we got the player of the game. He had that interception in the end zone too. That really was the play of the game. I don't know if they're going to have that as the play of the game. Here we go. No, the play of the game is this right here. Tom Brady to Rob Gronkowski. The game's only touchdown right there. Gronk. So that's it right there. And as I said, I hope you're having a good day and a great weekend and enjoy all of the sports.